meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Comiskey?
Here.
Mr. DeSarno?
Here.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Here.
Mayor Morgan?
Here.
Mr. Munoz?
Present.
Mrs. McKnight? Here. Mrs. Valeska?
Here.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we start, I just want to mention that it's Vietnam War Veterans Day. I know a lot of us probably were my age. We knew a lot of veterans that went over there and served honorably, and we want to thank them for their service. But I'd like to have a moment of silence for the servicemen that passed away in action. In fact, we had one in New Providence, Sergeant George Hutchinson. He's the only New Providence pioneer that got killed in action, and hopefully he'll be the last. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, we have, it's a public meeting of the Borough Council, Borough of New Providence, County Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231. The annual notice or revision was made in conformance to Section 13 of the Act. Okay, tonight we have a few ordinances. Ordinance 01. Denise, please read the title.
Ordinance 2022-1 is an ordinance amending Section 310-33 of the Code of the Borough of New Providence entitled Signs.
Okay, what this is a ordinance which made a few minor adjustments to our sign ordinance, which conforms more with the surrounding towns and brings it up to date with the current technology. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, at this time, we have a public hearing on this and this ordinance only. Anybody wishing to address council? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Comiskey?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Valeska?
Aye.
Okay, the next ordinance is 02, which is, please read the title.
Ordinance 2022-2 is an ordinance amending Chapter 147 of the Code of the Borough of New Providence entitled Fees and Licenses.
What this is that we found that our sewer connection fee was very, very low compared to everybody else. So we're making that adjustment to bring it up to where it should be. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Anybody wishing to address council on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please raise their hand. Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Comiskey?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Valeska?
Aye.
Okay. Boy, we're in a roll with the ordinances. Ordinance 03. Please read the title.
Ordinance 2022-3 is an ordinance amending Ordinance 2014-1, which created a Department of Community Activities and Community Activities Advisory Board.
Okay, what this does is eliminate the Community Activities Advisory Board, and we found that the employees and staff were able to do this without the advisory board. So, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, anybody wishing to address council on that ordinance and that ordinance only, please raise their hand. Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Comiskey?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Valeska?
Aye.
Okay. When we go down, we have a presentation by the Community Pool Board. Tom and Danny, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we start, I just want to thank you for all you've done. The past 2 years have not been very fun, to say the least. I know you had to make a lot of changes last year and scheduling and, you know, I just want to, everybody had a hard time. And I just want to thank you for providing the service you were able to provide last year. So at this point, please, go
All
ahead.
right, well, thank you. I'll introduce myself. I'm Tom Fody. I'm the Vice President of the Community Pool. I've been on the pool board probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years.
Dan Oberhauser, and I'm the treasurer, and I've been on the board about 2 months, so relatively new. So all that thank you was to him, not to me.
But so I want to start off by thanking you guys. You guys were incredible. During the pandemic, I spent countless hours talking to my pool liaisons, the council, the mayor, Bernadette. I mean, you guys are incredibly supportive, Doug Marvin too, so thank you guys. I mean, we wouldn't have got through this without you guys, for sure. So we appreciate your support, and it's been invaluable. And a little plug for my management team. I just want to thank my all-star team of managers who you guys probably know: Steve Hughes, Chris Cronin, Dan Barletta, Jackie Bovary, and Kenny Platt. So if you see them around town, they're smiling faces. They're the reason the pool is the pool, mostly. 110% now. So, all right. So, real quickly, fantastic news. We're returning to the pre-COVID New Providence Community Pool, which we're calling the old normal, not the new normal. The old normal, we're going old school. So we're going to be open every day, 12 to 8, and we're looking to expand those hours. The playground is open, the basketball court is open, the shuffleboard is open, Foursquare, ping pong, diving board, snack bar, everything is open. We're so excited. It's so easy to just be open and be happy.
Yeah, right.
So we couldn't be happier about that. So if I didn't mention, we're happy about that. I shared with you our P&L and some financials that we have. I don't know if you have those. I just want to run through those real quick. So there's kind of 2 layers to our finance. Our finances. One is the P&L and the second is the reserve study. So the P&L, which we can go through real quickly. As you can see, we laid out a couple different seasons, 2020, 21, and 22, our budget. And as you can see, 2020 we got crushed because of COVID. We lost money, which is very hard for a not-for-profit. In 2021 we bounced back, and in 2022 we're kind of headed back in the right direction. So I think it's important to note, if you're looking at these numbers, like you see our revenue has kind of been flat, has been up, down, and it's trending in the right direction. In fact, you'll see a marketing line on here that we added, so we're going to spend some money this year to try to raise and elevate our membership and get it out there, and try to increase our membership. Because if you look down at the red part here, the expenses, chemicals, insurance, everything is going through the roof. And probably our single biggest expense is the minimum wage. We have 40,000 hours worked in the season, hourly. So every dollar that goes up, that's 40 big ones, so that hurts us significantly. So unfortunately, we had to adjust fees accordingly. Which brings me to the next point of, if you jump to our reserve study, or I guess it's 10-year capital reserve analysis page. You see in the upper left-hand corner, it says cash on hand. It shows you what we have. Then it says the quarter-year expenses. It's $196,000. So that's basically the money that it takes us to open and run most of the pool. So we need that money in the bank beforehand, before we start getting fees. So we always have to have that as a cushion. Then we have an emergency fund, which is $50,000. That's if a tree falls or, God forbid, something happens and we need it. And then lastly, it's the capital reserve, and that's for the big ticket items. Playgrounds, basketball courts, concrete, pumps, etc. And as you can see on there, there's a couple big ticket items that I'll bring to your attention. Let's see. So in 2026, we're targeting to spend like almost $215,000. 2028, $77,000. 230, $150. 2031, almost $400,000. This isn't your backyard pool. It's a massive operation, so these costs are through the roof, and these are projections over useful lives and whatnot. So we're trying to plan ahead. Some past projects, we just got a new pool cover, which we spent $120,000 on. We resurfaced the upper and lower pool, which was about $325,000. We got a new diving board, so we're in good shape. But we're projecting that the useful life on these things are fading. So we just need to be cognizant of that. So you can see on the reserve study, you see where we are in 2022 and where we're going in 2021. That bottom line, we're going to play catch up for the foreseeable future. So that's that. Next is our trustees. I just want to talk about this for a second. So we've always had 13 trustee spots. We've typically only had 11. We found 3 new folks, young folks to join us, which we're super excited about. So we're hoping to pass the baton to everyone, and we couldn't be more excited about.
I guess Stanley's one of them,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
They hooked you already,
How many years until I get out of the young crowd? You know,
Yeah.
not long now.
Still the young. So that's our trustees. And then just one other thing that I want to talk about that we're super proud of is our swim and dive team, which you probably don't know unless you've had a swimmer or a diver, but we have over 225 kids in the programs between swim and dive, which is amazing. And like, again, it's not one of the advertised sports. It doesn't seem like it's there, but it's there. And we have a competitive and a developmental program. So basically anybody who wants to do anything gets exposure to do it. We've had 2 coaches, Walter Kepner from the high school, who's been with us 10 years. Kenny Platt's been with us 10 years. So it's an amazing program. In fact, just to talk about some of their accolades, they've won 3 dive championships in the last 3 years, 3 in a row.
Oh, wow.
We host 400 swimmers for the Meet of Champions. So I don't know if you noticed towards the end of the swim season, the parking lot will be overfull. We flow over to OLP and we have the Meet of Champions, which is probably, I think it's 18 different swim and dive programs that come, and we host it because we have this wonderful facility. And lastly, one of the other things we do, which we're super proud of, is we do this swim for food and dive. So the kids volunteer their time, they raise money, and we donate the food, which is to the local pantries. I think we do it with the CSA, if I'm not mistaken. So we're super proud of that. Lastly, the other thing we submitted to you guys was our tentative activity schedule. So we're super excited to say we're getting back, and there's a list of all of the stuff that's happening. You're all welcome to come. So we have a couple to be determined items. The last thing that I wanted to bring up, and then I'll open it up to questions if you guys have anything for me. But I just on the event schedule, there's one thing I want to talk about. In addition to what you see there, you see the water fitness class. We host this class for mostly seniors. They love it. We're looking at doing yoga, Zumba. We're looking at doing a book club with the library. We're trying to figure that out. We have a team movie night. So we're exploring all kinds of things, and we're open to anything. So anyone has suggestions on activities, we're in. But the last thing is the adult trivia night, which we're trying to host. So in doing some research, essentially our current lease, the way it's written right now, prohibits us from having alcohol at the pool. So we don't want that abolished for all, but we do want to have it like a BYOB night for adults to try to gain some, we want to get the parents to the pool so they can see our facility, and maybe it's a trivia night or whatever. So we'd like to apply for a permit, but we can't because our lease prohibits it. So council would need to put an amendment to our lease to have that changed in some way, so that we can do it one night with special permission, once a year kind of thing. So if you would consider that, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we have to look at that, what the insurance ramifications are, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay.
All right, so that's all I have, unless you guys have some questions.
No, I'm very impressed with the activity schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, and you never had any of that. Impressive, very impressive.
I like how you set out your 10-year kind of forecast, so you know what expenses are coming and you're already starting to budget for them.
Smart.
So I see that you have that, you mentioned that $5,000 marketing line for this current year, right? Have you guys thought about changing the name at all of the community pool to something maybe a little
We
more?
did. So we've had this conversation for a long time about the Providence Community Pool versus like the New Providence Pool Club. So we've certainly been considering it for a long time, and I'd open it up to you guys if you have any feedback or suggestions on how to handle that. I don't know if there's you guys have a strong feeling one way or the other, but we were looking at kind of evolving it to a pool club because I don't know if you've ever been on, if you had kids on swim or dive and you went to the other facilities, they're nowhere near ours. Right? We have definitely a very kind of country club kind of feel to it, and we want to kind of keep that in the name. So we're looking to kind of maybe rebrand and relaunch some way, post-COVID to really be out there. So that's certainly something that's on the table. So I welcome your feedback on that.
Is there anything related to renaming rights in the lease agreement? Do you think? I wonder.
Naming rights?
Yeah.
I doubt it. I'll look, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest misconceptions when people move to town, right? Is that it's a community pool, I'm gonna go, to another club pool or something, right? Who knows what club pools are there in town and blah, 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 right? So, definitely something worthwhile looking into, right? I'm sure from your perspective. I know, we worked, and by the way, it's amazing how you were able to not only manage the, COVID environment and be able to provide such an amazing service to the community, right? Everybody that was able to get out and go use the pool during that time was so excited and happy to be able to do that, right? That was a Herculean effort, right? From not just the board at the pool, but every employee that had to show up, right, and work, right, during that time. So kudos to you guys for being able to pull that off, and just an amazing service to the community. So I know we worked in the past with you guys, like on the basketball courts, right? So that was a very successful, joint project between the borough and the pool. We talked a little bit about the bridge at some point. We were going back and forth on the bridge, and I think the bridge had some structural damage that we were looking into as far as replacing. We're also doing the walkway around the pool, which is nice. But is there anything else structurally or any other projects that you could, and if you don't, not today, but if you come up with something?
So two things that are on our radar is, one is the bridge and the parking lot. We kind of look at those as two things. I guess it was about 6, 7, 8 years ago when we redid our lease. We structured a deal where I think it was 75-25 responsibility. So we're certainly saving for that and worried about that because the parking lot is going to be a massive expense. And for us, it's like, we're spending all this money on the parking lot, not, for the pool, but not really the pool itself. So that's certainly a concern of ours. The bridge is on the radar. We have the lower pool. So we've always talked about extending our season too, because we always feel like it's short. And you can either do that with a heater or lights. So lights was something that we kind of talk about every couple of years. And when we did the basketball court project, we put in that big, I don't know what the right word is,
Stanchion?
that box that can house the extra electricity that we would need to either heat or light up the pool. So I think it's about 9 years out, but we're looking at resurfacing the decking area in the lower pool. So that would be the time that we would probably look to, if we can save enough money and drive membership, that we could put in lights. And then we could do like a team night. We could stay up on a Friday night and have teams only. Like we see it as like a win-win for not only just the pool members themselves, but the community, because we can do some cool stuff with the lights.
I was just going to quickly thank both of you for your time this evening. Your passion and energy and excitement for the pool and everything it is for the community is clearly apparent. I also think it's great that you're so forward-looking and trying to continue to make it better and better and better. And it's something that I think, from one time or another, we've all had a chance to enjoy. So that's great. So thank you again.
I think we're actually planning on looking at that bridge next year, right, Bernadette?
Yeah.
Because I gotta tell you, just trying to get the other bridges going to the schools, it's a nightmare with the supply chain issues and everything else. So engineers said we could get away with another year with no problem, so.
Yeah, we've minimized vehicle traffic over it, so we're trying to
Right.
keep it as much of a footprint as possible.
Yeah,
And we were when we looked at that a few years back, with the pool, we were looking at it to say, that bridge is important, right? Like, not only structurally but visually, right? It's like the entrance to the school, it's the entrance to the pool, right? To tennis courts, right?
Yeah.
And so we were not only just talking about the bridge itself, but how do we make the surrounding area of the bridge, plants and facade of the bridge, etc. So maybe an opportunity once we get down the road of looking at that bridge, looking back at not only just the bridge itself, but making that area a little bit
For sure.
nicer.
The insurance that you pay for the pool, what is that for? Is that just like workers' comp, or does that include liability insurance?
No, it's everything. And, the diving board, so we have a high dive, which is a very expensive thing, a line on rental insurance, but I think it's, what is it, 70? I think it's 83,000, yeah. I mean, that's just gone through the roof, and there's nothing we can do about it.
So that's your liability coverage, basically.
Basically, yeah.
So how does that play into our liability issue then, if we were to permit them to amend the lease?
In speaking with our insurance company, there would have to be higher levels of liability insurance. They are not proponents of it, as we've discussed.
But I mean, they have their own policy. Why does that affect us?
The insurance company just feels that, given the nature of what it is, they're not openly willing at this point to do that, but we can take a look at it.
But I'm saying, like, why should the borough JIF be involved in that if they have their own liability policy?
I presume the JIF has concerns that the borough will be included in a suit,
Correct.
so that's why. I mean, I don't know what the borough's liability would be in that scenario, but that's the JIF's position. I mean, right or wrong, that's what we have to deal with.
But that can be overcome by, what do you call it?
Excess, or
Yeah, just an agreement for a hold harmless or indemnification agreement on behalf of the pool to the borough.
well, it's got to be, yes, but it's got to be something satisfactory to the JIF.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's an overcome obstacle, right? We can overcome.
Yeah,
I would
it's
hope so.
doable. It's doable.
You need a lawyer or something?
Anybody else?
I just want to thank you guys also. So that was one highlight that we had during the pandemic, was going to the pool. Even with the abbreviated hours and everything, so we're definitely looking forward to full-time going back to the pool. I also like the idea of rebranding
Yeah.
that you were talking about. Like Matt was saying, a lot of times people may overlook the benefits and the beauty of the pool just by hearing the name. So I think anything that you could do for rebranding would help with your marketing, would help with a different image, especially now post-COVID. It's like a new kickoff. It's a new, fresh start. So I think that's a great idea.
Maybe as a fundraiser, we named the naming rights, the Al Morgan.
You
should do
all get sued.
You should
that's
do an
true.
open house, right? You ever think of that?
Yeah.
Because, there is no comparison between the New Providence pool and other surrounding pools.
No.
That would be a great idea.
Invite them to come and see it.
Yeah.
What?
So invite folks to come and see.
Oh, yeah, so we've talked about this idea for years, trying to have like a New Providence Day and host it at the pool with like the fire department there, with, all kinds of stuff, like. And we just haven't figured out how to do it, but like I said, we have some new trustees. In fact, one of them's specialty is marketing, so she's really excited. That's why we gave her a budget to go crazy with.
Good.
It's a small budget, the smallest thing.
Yeah.
That's the floaties, but yeah. So we're gonna try to drive membership, so we'd love to partner with you guys and do some kind of New Providence Day.
Sure, that'd be great.
Pool and have it open to, any New Providence resident, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I need approval of minutes of March 8th, please.
Just, I talked to you about that one update for,
Wendy had already done it. You might have an older version.
I'm online, I just checked, it wasn't
Oh, I
done,
looked.
so.
I'll have her fix it.
Okay,
So-
make the motion as amended.
Yeah,
Okay.
I second. Do I have to make the
All in
motion?
favor?
Aye.
Yes.
No, so be it. Okay, we have correspondence, a biennial certification for groundwater remediation for empty fuel. New Providence Fire Department, resignation, Ryan Tunney. And we want to thank Ryan for his service with the fire department. Kevin Cheatham, Board of Adjustment hearing. New Jersey American Water, proposed rate hike increase, public hearing. And Jane McCready, who is the pastor of Faith Lutheran, they want to have a interfaith vigil for the people of the Ukraine. And they're gonna do it at, on April 13th at 6 o'clock out here at Centennial Park. I hope we'll all attend. Okay? Good.
That's good.
All right, please, let Pastor McCready know that we're very excited about it. Okay, let's go to, council business. Administration, Diane.
Thank you, Mayor. We have Resolution 2022-087, which is a resolution extending outdoor dining and outdoor music provisions to assist local businesses impacted by the coronavirus public health emergency. This resolution extends outdoor dining until June 30th of this year to allow businesses the opportunity to apply to the zoning board and get a hearing date if desired to keep their dining in place. The resolution also includes outdoor displays and music as they have typically gone
together hand in hand through this public health emergency.
Thank you. Nadine, Business and Professional Association.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2022-088 is a resolution approving request of the New Providence business community to sponsor community events during the calendar year 2022. So this resolution was brought to us by the BPA. It is a letter that we received from the President, Michelle Alfonte, and this allows the business community to work with the borough on some exciting events that they usually do for us. There are 7 events that are planned this year. In June, they help with the Sharing Network, 5K. In July, we have the concert series, so 3 outdoor concerts at the gazebo. August is the National Night Out with fireworks and a concert. In October, they have the Downtown Scarecrow Stroll and Contest, trick-or-treating, street fair, and November, the Holiday Walk. One little notice that I want, or one little piece of information that I want to put with this is this year the Business Association is not doing the July 3rd fireworks. They had it combined last year with the National Night Out. However, as a borough, we would like to go back to the tradition of July 3rd family fun festivities, which has been such a great event that I know my family as well as many other families have looked forward to. So as a borough, we will be having fireworks and festivities on July 3rd. More information will follow. That's not included with this, but that is something that we are looking to do.
One thing I want to do, I want to thank the Business Association. They've gone through a tough 2 years where they've really, they don't have the funds to do the July 3rd. And I want to thank them for doing what they're doing. I know it's a stretch for them. I think it's incumbent on us try and find some other sponsors out there that, you know, maybe some of the bigger corporations, see if they can't help us out. And I don't think it's really a necessity, especially these times that we celebrate our American independence and our freedom. Because right now we can see what people go through that don't have the freedoms that we do. So I think it's very important that we do this. So.
Exactly. And I would also like to thank the businesses for doing this because they have gone through a lot. We've had a continued ongoing relationship with them. They've helped us when we've needed them. Now we're going to help, and we're going to do it in conjunction with them, and we're going to help them out as well. So I think I definitely agree it's time to get back to full celebrations of our country's independence, and I think it's something families need. Family fun time to come together, and that's always been an outstanding tradition that we have. So we'll be returning to that this year.
Agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're clear, we're gonna host the July 3rd fireworks,
Yes.
Yes.
okay? And we're going to approve these activities, which also include fireworks at the National Night Out
In August.
Right.
in August.
It's
Which
gonna
I
be
which
a
I'm just
great
I just want to
summer.
say like I'm a little concerned about too much fireworks, to be honest, right? I think I agree with you. Like these guys have been through a lot, and you know, I just want to note that you know maybe we take note of this, you know, going forward. You know that we're not shooting fireworks off at every function, right? So you know, I'm glad that we're doing the July 3rd. I think it's very, very important. And I get that these guys have been through a tough time, and they want to sponsor that at the National Night Out, which, by the way, was a phenomenal event last year. Right? I think anyone here, we all agreed. I mean, that was really, everything was perfect about it. The location, all the events, etc. But that is a concern. I just want to make sure I vocalize.
I think we need a lot of happy this summer. I think we're overdue to have celebrations and people coming together, return to normalcy, return to tradition. And I think, you know, maybe we won't do this going forward in the future, but this year I think we need a little extra joy and happiness.
Well, I think it's important to note that we can't tell the Business Association how to spend their money.
That's true.
You know, so I think that's something that we have to take into consideration and just say, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because, you know, they don't have to do anything, you know, so I just wanna say thank you to them, because it's their money, and how they wanna spend it is up to them,
No,
not up to us.
I disagree. You know,
Well,
the fireworks, again, not everybody likes fireworks all the time, okay? And I just want to be clear, you know, I think I'm okay with having fireworks at this event. I just don't think it's something that we want to start incorporating in every event that we have in town. That's all I'm saying, okay?
Okay, let's move on. Matt, engineering?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2022-089 is a resolution authorizing upgrades of repair work at the DeCorso Center. So as you guys know, the DeCorso Center was, you know, decimated by the storm, right? And we have been working on fixing that up, all the storm damage over the last few months. So this resolution authorizes us to do some additional work to coincide with that work, that remediation work that's being done now. So this includes replacing some ceiling tiles to match the ceiling tiles that were damaged, that are being replaced, as well as cleaning and painting ceiling grids and replacing the carpeted areas and vinyl composite tiles with solid vinyl wood planks.
Okay,
All right,
Finance,
on to
Matt.
finance. So resolution 2022-090 is a resolution authorizing payment of the attached bills payable list in the amount of $529,233.99. Some of the significant items related to this bills payable list is State of New Jersey, $103,609 March State Health Benefit Premium. DLS Contracting, $71,629 emergency road repair on Central Avenue, which was due to Hurricane Ida, as well as a grinder of $27,703 for our wastewater treatment plant. Resolution 2022-091 is a resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriations. As we have been doing each meeting, this is a resolution that provides for the continuing operations of the borough before the budget is finalized. Next, we have the introduction of the 2022 municipal budget. So this first is an introduction of ordinance 2022-04, calendar year 2022 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. This ordinance, we do this each year. We're allowed to raise our taxes by up to 3.5%. We typically go under that, right? So the difference goes into the cap bank, which then we can use over the next 2 years. This allows us to be able to tap into that cap bank if anything unexpected should happen. Resolution 2022-092 is a resolution approving introduction of the 2022 municipal operating budget and establish a hearing date. So this resolution establishes a hearing date which is scheduled for April 26th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. here in the Municipal Center, at which time we will give a more detailed presentation on the entire budget and the process. The budget will be available for anyone online, or you can come pick up a copy here at the Borough Hall. Some details to note: the operating budget does not take into consideration the American Rescue Plan money. As we discussed last year's budget, we are not allowed to use those monies to lower our taxes, right? We will discuss in detail how we are using our money at the hearing. The tax rate for 2022 will increase 1.98% on the average home in New Providence that is assessed at $303,167. That equates to a $61 per year tax increase on the municipal portion of their taxes. Resolution 2022-093 is a resolution approving introduction and establish Downtown Improvement District 2022 budget hearing date. This is the Downtown Improvement District's budget. There's a slight decrease in the budget from prior year due to a few small items, so it's consistent with prior years.
okay. Pete, community activities.
Yeah, Mayor, Resolution 2022-94 is a salary resolution. I think we're adding 2 T-ball instructors there, if I'm not mistaken. Hit them where they ain't.
Okay, 95, it's a resolution supporting the New Jersey statewide 2022 You Drive, You Text, You Pay distracted driving crackdown. Now, this will be a crackdown on distracted driving between April 1st and April 30th. So don't be on your cell phones, please. They say that 49% of the accidents that occur are due to distracted driving. And I kind of believe that because I kind of see it myself out there. So, okay. Any discussion items? Seeing none. Discussion items. Public safety, I just said the distracted driving. We did some interviews for Class 2 officers. A couple of them went to other places, they're getting full-time jobs, and we've gotten very good Class 2 officers, and the process really works. So, and it's also a good way when we have retirements that we're able to see what kind of personnel that we can draw from. Okay, the other thing, the shared dispatch, we had a meeting and they're going to start an operations board. So to make sure that all the operations are standardized and being made more efficient. So that's all I have. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Rob will talk about Board of Health meeting. In regards to the planning board, we didn't have a meeting. The finance committee is working on the budget hearing, so we'll be working on that over the next few weeks and presenting that at the next meeting. I did just want to mention relating to, I guess, engineering construction, PSE&G, as Bernadette knows, has been on my block for months now, right? They're putting in a high efficiency gas line, which they will be doing throughout the entire borough, right? If I'm not mistaken. They've been there for a few months. It's a major project, right? And it's the infrastructure of the gas line that's under the the roads. So, I've been able to get out and walk the dog and meet these guys and talk to them almost every day, right? And they're really, really great guys, and they're working, obviously to knock this out. They've been there a long time, and I'm sure a lot of my neighbors are very frustrated. And I know Bernadette's been getting phone calls, I'm sure, from not only people on the block, but people in the park where they were parking their cars and whatnot. So I just wanted to just bring it up to just say, they're going to be here for probably a couple years, if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, they've been on my block for a few months, one block, right? So they're going to be here for a few years, and I know, Al, you had mentioned this, a couple meetings ago. We're just going to need to be patient, right? And at the end of the day, these guys are doing their jobs, right? And they're putting in new infrastructure, throughout the borough. So I just wanted to,
I'm glad you brought that up because it is important. Most New Providence is built in the 50s, 60s, 70s. The materials they used back then, aren't what they are today. Now, the gas lines have to be changed because they're using high pressure gas. I know I tell the story, I live on a corner and I had them digging up on both sides. But we give the utility companies a list of roads that we're planning on paving every year. And we ask them to cooperate with us to do all the construction that they have to do before we pave that road. It only makes sense. It doesn't always work that way, but between the gas company and the water company, we've had some problems. And there's no doubt about it. It's all the utilities, including Jersey Central, we're at their mercy. And that's just the way it works. So we try to mitigate everything before we run into a problem. But Woodbine Circle, unfortunately, is a very large road in the borough, and it's very inconvenient. And I understand that, and it's tough when you have Oakwood Park, the activities going down there, so please be patient. By the time it's all done and repaved and everything else, hopefully everybody will be happy. So, okay, thanks for bringing that up, Matt. Anything else? No, Pete?
Thanks, Mayor. Capital Review Committee, I want to thank, we've been a lot of hard work going on there. Committee consists of Mayor Morgan, Councilwoman Joffrey, our Borough Administrator, Bernadette Cacara, our CFO. Reaching a conclusion, we'll be presenting in the upcoming council meetings, our end product. Community Activities Board, a number of important announcements. Youth and adult spring session classes begin this week. The Recreation Department is also hosting several spring break camps that still have availability for April 18th to the 22nd. Summer registration is open on Community Pass. The Recreation Department is offering many camp and class options for all ages. The DeCorso Center will be reopening on Monday, May 2nd, after the completion of its renovations due to damages sustained in Hurricane Ida. We're, of course, very excited to welcome our seniors back. The Fishing Derby returns this year on Saturday, May 7th. Residents can register on Community Pass beginning this Friday, April 1st. Tennis court permits go on sale beginning May 1st, and the court reservations begin May 27th. And finally, something that's very exciting, the Memorial Day Parade will return this year on Monday, May 30th at 10 o'clock. I know how much the community enjoys that. I know living on Springfield Avenue, it's something that's a highlight of our year as well. If your community group would like to march in the parade, please call the Recreation Office for more information. I'd like to also tell you our sustainability team met on March 23rd. Some more talk about how to continue to make the free cycle even better than it's been in previous years. It's always a struggle in that event we're trying to obviously have equal supply and demand. We take in a lot of things, but we're trying to figure out a way to get people to take more with them.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, so we putting it to different ideas. One of the suggestions was being more active on social media, saying, hey, we got this great table, come down and get it, or something like that, or having, people make kind of a commitment coming in, whatever you bring, you look to take an equal amount with you. I mean, the idea is obviously to repurpose, recycle, to give something a second life, so we'll try to encourage that more and more. And then finally, tree sapling giveaway. I mentioned this before, scheduled for Saturday, April 23rd from 10 to 2. That's a popular event, always well attended, and it's over here in the library. If you're facing the library, it's traditionally on the parking lot to the right, so look for that. That's it. Thank you.
Nadine?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one little quick thank you. As we just finished this budget cycle, I just wanted to take a moment to really thank Bernadette and her staff for everything that they've done during this budget process. They've done a great job, and I just wanted to note them for that. So Bernadette, Denise, Wendy, Kathy, thank you guys so much for everything that you've done. I know you put in a lot of time, and I just don't want that to go unnoticed. Other than that, operations normal.
Okay. Rob?
I just want to remind everyone before I forget that the New Providence Police Department is hosting Coffee with a Cop tomorrow at the Prestige Diner from 2 to 3:30. So at the last meeting, I had reported that there was an issue with the Board of Health contract with Westfield. So we had an emergency meeting last Tuesday where we found out that Westfield has come back with us now with our original 3-year contract that they're willing to execute. So we signed it and sent it to them last week, and we should have the signed copy back soon, if not already. That's good news. And it's the same price that we had negotiated with them last year. So I think it's a big cost savings and cost benefit for the borough. I had also reported that a food truck had applied for a permit to serve food outside of Untied Brewery, but unfortunately, I don't think they're going to get that permit. They couldn't prove that they actually cooked the food in the truck. We think that they may cook it at the person's house, which is not permissible, and then they heat it up in the truck. So you obviously can't do that. So we're still looking hopefully for someone to fill that spot at Untied. That's all I have.
Okay, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a library board meeting on March 15th, and the library is very happy to report that they are getting back to normal, or what did Dan say? What did you call it? The old normal. We're getting back to the old normal, which is great. The Friends of the Library are going to have a couple of events. The first one is April 3rd. It's going to be a live opera. June 12th, they also are having some type of concert. They haven't quite decided on that yet. In-person story time for the kids, yes, starting in April, so that'll be great for them. Another thing that came up at the meeting was that we are being approached by a couple different consortiums. Right now, we belong to the Union County Consortium, which means that we can go out to other libraries within Union County and share resources and books and materials. But we're also being approached by Middlesex County as well as Morris and Hunterdon counties. So it's really great to have some of those choices. Like I said, that would mean we could go to Chatham or Madison or Morristown for materials. So we're still kind of fleshing that out. One of the downsides of that is that we would have to change the catalog software, which would be a big endeavor. But something to think about, and we are thinking about it. The other thing is the strategic plan that I spoke about last time is underway. They are using consultants for direction and opportunities. So they're getting started with that, with some fact gathering and some opinion gathering from a couple different focus groups. So they're going to start with the staff. In May, the company is going to be there for 3 days to meet with the staff, the board. They're also going to put an appeal out to the rest of the community. They would like to speak to residents. So if you're interested in participating in that focus group for the library, that's an opportunity. And they'll also be speaking with the Friends of the Library. So that, it's a good kickoff. So hopefully that works out well. And that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, Diane.
Thank you. So the Board of Education had their last meeting last Thursday, the 24th. Michael Crisatello, who is just coming off a huge season with the NPGL ice hockey team, has been named the new assistant principal for grades 7 to 8 at our middle school, which is an internal move. Go NP. Other big news was Jim Testa, who is the business administrator for the district for the past 20 years, received a Distinguished Service Award by his state association. So, good things for New Providence. And as always, you can always go to their website and look at the past minutes and other information for the Board of Education. The Historical Society annual dinner will be on Thursday, April 21st at Chimney Rock Inn, and the program is entitled Remember the Ladies, Women of the American Revolution. So that seems to be a very interesting topic and well worth going. And members of our Historical Society met with our county for I'm not going to try to remember how to pronounce it, so you can quiz me next time, the 250th anniversary of our independence, which is in 2026. So they're already starting to work on that and have ideas, and it's be very exciting in a couple of years.
That should be fun.
Mm-hmm. And as an aside, the borough is still looking for 3 more members for the Historic Preservation Commission.
I have one.
Yeah, I think we just got one today in the email. We just got one on email.
So if we can put him on it. And Mike Crisatello also was named New Jersey Coach of the Year for hockey, and we want to congratulate him for that.
Yes.
It's quite an honor.
Congratulations.
We've had a few, Artie Catano and,
Amazing.
right?
Amazing, the success that in this town is just phenomenal.
Yes,
We'll be having the hockey team in.
and Mike too.
And Mike too.
And Diane, congratulations to you and all those responsible for a successful fashion show the other night. That was a wonderful event.
The high school
Oh,
had our
did you go, Pete?
I did.
Trey fashion show.
I had a participant, sure.
What did he,
No,
What
he
is-
No,
didn't.
participant,
The
no.
greatest thing.
No, I wasn't on the stage. I meant I had a daughter that was.
he's a good sport.
Here, I'll give you a shameless plug. It's the high school PTSA's major fundraiser, and it's student-centered. So the students are the models for the
Yes.
fashion show. We had students runners and ushers, running baskets, running props around, and all the kids work the booth and all of the tech in the auditorium. So it's a great experience.
Wonderful.
It was great. And another back to the old one.
And all the money goes
Wonderful.
back to the
All the money goes
NPHS
back to
community.
the high school PTSA, so all the students benefit.
Mhm.
So, excellent. Great job.
Okay. Bernadette, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it's spring, which means it's the beginning of our construction season here in the borough. The sidewalk vendor is in town doing sidewalk replacement and repairs. They're currently on Central. They've been on Hawthorne. They're a few blocks in by Roberts. During spring break, we'll be installing a brand new sidewalk in front of Roberts School. So that's slated for when nobody's around. Following the sidewalks, we also have the pavers will be in town starting probably in May. And there's about 10 or 15 roads that will get up on the website that will be paved this spring. The Mee Lane and Dunlop Street bridges, the abutments have been replaced, and at this point, we are just waiting for the delivery of the actual bridges to go on. They're hoping for an April, end of April, beginning of May, delivery and installation on those. And the last thing I just want to mention that nobody else did is that the police department, police trading card program is out there. If you're in pre-K to grades 8, you can get your police baseball cards at either the Avenue Deli, Bagel Cafe. There you go, Mayor Morgan.
Very nice.
Dr. Robinson's office, Dunkin' Donuts, Elefante, the Juice House, Prestige Diner, Skin Deep, YK Salon, and Zita's. They all have about 3 officers each, so if you want the entire 30-card collection, you have to hit all the vendors.
It's fun.
That's all I have.
It's fun.
I have a question, actually. You mentioned sidewalks, just made me think of something. So the water company's doing a lot of replacement of hydrants and valves around town. And I noticed 2 things. One, they took up the curbing to put the hydrant in, and then they blacktopped over the curbing. And then another incident I saw, they actually blacktopped the sidewalk itself.
So,
I don't know if it's a key
so
question.
with all of our utility companies, so if there's a water main break and they come and replace, they repair the breakage, they will put a temporary patch, and they have an entirely different crew that will come back and either replace the sidewalk, put your grass down, cart away the branches or whatever else, was created from that repair or
Okay, so
installation.
that's a temporary thing.
It's a
All right,
temporary.
perfect. Thank you.
You don't think it's gonna be efficient?
Well, I just want to make sure that they're
And they're not always right behind them, that's the
Oh,
other.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, good. Thank you.
okay, at this time we have public comment. Anybody wishing to address council, raise their hand, give their name and address. Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Okay, I need motion for items 1 through 10, please.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Gillespie?
Aye.
Okay, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
No? So be it. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.